Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Tina. It's time for a daily devotional. I think one of the great things about the work God's doing today is God reveals the mystery about all different things, not just about our corruptions, not just about how we're corrupted by Satan, but also about His creation, about things that we really don't pay attention to because we get too busy in life. Mankind does a lot of research on things, but mankind's research is not really in accord with how God created things, the background to how God created like airflow and the temperature and things like that. So today we're going to talk about airflow. So we're going to read a passage of God's words on this. God says, "What is the fifth thing? This thing is closely related to each day of every person's life. So close is its relation to human life that the human body could not live in this material world without it. This thing is airflow." Perhaps anyone could understand the noun airflow, having just heard it. So, what is airflow? You could say that airflow is simply the flowing movement of air. Airflow is a wind that the human eye cannot see. It is also one way in which gases move. Yet, in this talk, to what does airflow primarily refer? As soon as I say it, you will understand. The earth carries the mountains, the seas, and all the things of creation as it turns, and when it turns with speed. Though you do not feel any of this spinning, the rotation of the earth exists nonetheless. What does its rotation engender? When you run, does wind not arise and rush past your ears? If wind can be generated when you run, how can there not be wind when the earth rotates? When the earth rotates, all things are in motion. The earth itself is in motion and rotating at a certain speed, while all things on it are also constantly propagating and developing. Therefore, movement at a certain speed will naturally give rise to airflow. This is what I mean by airflow. Does this airflow not affect the human body to a certain extent? Consider typhoons. Normal typhoons are not particularly powerful. But when they strike, people cannot even stand steadily, and it is difficult for them to walk in the wind. Even a single step is arduous, and some people may even be pushed against something by the wind, unable to move. This is one of the ways airflow can affect mankind. If the entire earth were covered in plains, then, when the earth and all things rotated, the human body would be entirely unable to withstand the airflow thereby generated. It would be extremely difficult to respond to such a situation. If this were really the case, such airflow would not only bring harm to mankind, but total destruction. Humans would be unable to survive in such an environment. This is why God made different geographical environments to resolve such airflows. In different environments, airflows grow weaker, change their direction, change their speed, and change their force. That is why people can see different geographical features such as mountains, great mountain ranges, plains, hills, basins, valleys, plateaus, and great rivers. With these different geographical features, God changes an airflow's speed, direction, and force. This is the method He uses to reduce or manipulate airflow into wind whose speed, direction, and force are appropriate so that humans may have a normal environment in which to live. Is there need of this? Yes. Doing something like this seems difficult for humans, but it is easy for God because He observes all things. For Him, it could not be simpler or easier to create an environment with a suitable airflow for mankind. Therefore, in such an environment created by God, each thing within all of His creation is indispensable. There is value and necessity in the existence of each and everything. However, this principle is not understood by Satan or by mankind who has been corrupted. They continue destroying and developing and exploiting with vain dreams of turning mountains into flatland, filling in canyons, and building skyscrapers on flat land to create concrete jungles. It is God's hope that mankind can live happily, grow happily, and spend each day happily in the most suitable environment, which He has prepared for them. That is why God has never been careless in how He treats the environment in which mankind lives. From temperature to air, from sound to light, God has made intricate plans and arrangements so that the bodies of men and their living environment would not be subject to any interference from natural conditions, and that instead, mankind would be able to live and multiply normally, and live normally with all things in harmonious coexistence. All of this is provided by God to all things and to mankind. Amen. Wow. It's so amazing to learn about these things, that how God created airflow, and everything that when it moves, it creates some kind of airflow. Even just walking, there's air that it creates it we don't really pay attention to. And the earth when it turns. So God created everything so we could live here. Everything He created perfectly apportioned for us, and thinking about mankind so we could have a comfortable environment. These are really exciting things to learn about. Of thinking when we run, right? When the earth rotates and everything that's in motion, everything on the earth is pretty much in motion. Even when trees move, right? Gases move, all these different things. But I think it's amazing to learn about. And God talks about typhoons. Normal typhoons are not really powerful, but when they strike, we can't stand steadily. I know where I live, sometimes we've had some really, really heavy winds. And it can be pretty dangerous, things flying through the air and things like that. So it's a great thing that God perfectly proportioned everything for us. And, God reveals how true that even Satan doesn't understand these things. And no matter how much research mankind does, we really can't understand them, because God has a principle behind everything that He put into place, and God knows the source of it. God knows the reason for it, and He knows how to perfectly proportion these things, which we don't. We try to interfere with them. Like God says, we've done a lot of different things to the environment, where He says they continue destroying and developing and exploiting with vain dreams of turning mountains into flatland, filling the canyons and building skyscrapers on flatland to create concrete jungles. So when God looks at the earth, we can see that He sees that we've really destroyed it. We've taken things that He's perfectly proportioned, and we've changed them to fit our fleshly desires. And so God will recreate everything back to its original form, and learning about these things, we'll be able to understand when God puts something in existence, it's there for a reason, and we won't just go and destroy it to do things according to our fleshly desires. So I really like learning about these things, because no science, no man can really teach us the source of these things and really what they are and what they're for, and how God thought about all these things when He created us. So I hope you like this passage. I really like learning about these things because they're very interesting. So if you want to share anything, please feel free to do so. And that's all I have for today. So we'll see you next time. God bless you and have a wonderful day. Bye.